Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio with a special Grumpy Old Man edition of talking about preamps. Why do I say Grumpy Old Man edition? Because I just came back from the Consumer Electronics Show, and once again I'm getting a little bit pissed off at manufacturers that are taking and putting fewer and fewer parts into the box and going up and up in prices. So I'm going to talk to you about what to look for and how to avoid the pitfalls. You can make an incredible sounding tube preamp, retail it for $1,200. The problem with most customers is they don't look in the box. They see a pretty faceplate, they see a famous name brand, they assume it all must be good, and it is not true. Manufacturers have a tendency to take their flagship preamps that have multiple tubes in them and a lot of parts in them and say that their less expensive offerings have trickle-down technology. That's bullshit. There's no new engineering. There's no such thing as new designs, except for something I'm going to show you in just a moment here in this bat. But outside of that, it is the same thing with everybody. It's a couple of tubes and some FETs, or it's multiple tubes. That's how it goes. A good preamp should have parts in it, and if it doesn't have parts in it, and it's what they call minimalist, then it should have a minimalist price because it's got less stuff in it. So let's take a peek at something here. This is a great sounding preamp. This one right here, famous name brand, runs about $7,000. But if we look inside, all it is a transformer, a printed circuit board, two tubes, two 6H30s, some JFETs. That's it. It's just a hybrid preamp. That's all there is to it. There is no such thing as fairy dust. The volume control in this preamp is made up of 4 chips called DS16610 chips. They're a little bit more than $4 each. So that's it. Signal comes in, goes through some circuitry, goes through some caps, goes through a couple tubes, couple JFETs, volume control, and out. That's all there is to it. Great sounding preamp. Why wouldn't it be a great sounding preamp? Now, what's different about this? This is a balanced audio technology, VK-33SE. And I had to talk about this preamp, and I'm going to tell you why. I heard a couple of years ago a preamp that they make called the Rex. And the Rex it's ungodly. It is really the best sounding preamp I've ever heard. And it should be. It's $25,000. Here's what makes it different. Remember I said there's no such thing as new preamp designs. What makes the Rex different is transformer coupling. Transformers are a wondrous thing. They can give you inner detail and they can give you a sense of texture that you're not going to get when you use a whole bunch of coupling caps. But transformers are expensive. Single largest expense to building a preamp, and they're not the easiest thing to manufacture and to engineer. So when I heard that Balanced Audio Technology was going to build a preamp that had big toroidal transformers and big capacitors in it that are they're super pack built into it, and then transformer coupling, I go, what? What? I had to hear it. And I'm going to tell you something. I love that Rex. You got 25 grand, I'm down with it. But if you want the performance of a Rex, and if you want a preamp that is not made up with a bunch of bullshit and fairy dust, that's what we're talking about here. So what makes it special? The transformers. Transformers are very expensive. Manufacturers always want to cheap out on them. Balanced Audio Technology is one of the few companies in the world, the very few, that will use toroidal transformers. Why are toroids important? Because toroids do not radiate EMI the same way that C-core and R-core transformers radiate noise and crap. That's why they're used in supercritical phono stages. That's why they're used in circuits where you've got to keep noise down to an absolute minimum, but companies won't use them because they cost too much. My hats are off to BAT because they have not cheapened out. And they could, because I don't think you'd ever know that they didn't do it. But these guys are together, man. They put real parts in the box. Instead of using a volume control that is made up of chips that cost $4.15 each, they use a laddered resistor network that is controlled by a special controller board that gives you a true resistor volume control. That's the way you get the best sound. It's either you use that using a stepped attenuator, but if you do that, you can't get a remote control. So if you want to have remote control, you do it the way that BAT did it. Resistors on a board, controller board that opens and closes, goes to different resistors to raise and lower the volume to 140 different steps. So you've got perfect control over volume without any of the downside of using those stinking little chips. You don't want your music going through a chip. Now let's talk about the tube circuit itself. The very best preamps are going to have either tube rectification or tube regulation or a tube current source, because then you're really getting the glory of tubes. But again, manufacturers don't do that because it costs too much money. Look inside this preamp. It is chock full of parts. Look at this board with these 6C19 current source tubes. It costs money to do that, but BAT is a company that cares and they want to build a product that is eminently musical. The preamp is the choking point to your system. And if you don't get this right, nothing else is going to work right in your system. And I'm telling you something. I was so shocked when I took this preamp apart. Look, the other preamp that we were just talking about is $7,000 and it weighs 16.3 pounds. This preamp weighs 40 pounds and it's got the best parts in it. Now, it has both balanced in and out and single-ended in and out. So no matter where you go with your system, it's going to have ultimate flexibility for you. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of gain, so it is as quiet as a church mouse. Check this preamp out. Come to Upscale Audio. I will play it for you. You will be absolutely thrilled. And make sure you go to our website to buy your tubes and go to our specials page. We're always getting CES showpieces. We always got incredible things happening here. We've got a multi-million-dollar inventory. And I promise you, nobody gives a shit about you in this business, but I will always treat you and your system just like it's mine. Thanks.